You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
G'day, my name's Bruce Hitchcock, and you're listening to the weekly Betoota news wrap, coming to you live from downtown Betoota in our old city district.
G'day listeners, thanks for tuning in as we wrap up all of the top stories from the Betoota Advocate from the week that was, live from Koala Mattress Studios.
And it's pretty safe to say that the Royal Commission into the banking sector was the biggest story this week, wasn't it, Del?
I don't think anyone would argue with you on that one, Bruce. And after the final report was released by Commissioner Kenneth Hayne, we spoke to a local nono down at a Flight Path District cafe. The old Italian patriarch explained that the findings from the Royal Commission don't come as a surprise, as he always knew the banks, they no good. Nono explained that this is why he's been burying cash in his backyard, under the fig tree and in the rose garden for almost half a century. Because, as he said to us,
banks, taxmen, they are crooks. That's why I do not go to either.
However, as the retired Snowy River era migrant grows older and becomes even more intent on not listening to his wife, Nono says his biggest problem now is remembering where all of his life savings are located in the 20 square feet of soil in his half-acre backyard.
And in other news around the nation now, after months working away in remote rural communities, Uncle Tony X has recently returned to Sydney to condemn Kerry-Ann Kennelly. Former Prime Minister and respected Northern Beaches community elder Uncle Tony has returned to the big smoke after months working with grassroots Indigenous groups in remote communities around Australia to slam Kennelly for her comments around changing the date of Australia Day. Prime Minister Scott Morrison did not ask Mr Abbott to be a minister in his new government, but instead asked him to take on the role of envoy, citing his close association with Aboriginal Australia after growing up in a 6-bedroom mansion in Sydney's Northern Beaches and working for the Liberal Party for nearly 3 decades. KAK, more like KKK, said Uncle Tony in reference to Kerry-Ann Kennelly's recent racial tirade on a ratingless daytime television panel, before slamming all of those in his party for sticking up for the old wine dot.
And down south in the nightlife capital of the country now, Bruce, New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian has managed to solve the whole pill deaths issue this week. The young people of New South Wales, and to some extent the nation, have decided to never touch drugs again after the Premier of the country's second worst state said they were bad. Wiping her hands ceremoniously this morning as she stood on the steps outside New South Boomerstan Parliament in Sydney, Premier Gladys Berejiklian said her stern words about how bad drugs are have fixed the issue. She then explained that now that it's all sorted, she might try to do something about the whole fish deaths Murray-Darling issue rather than just ignoring the whole thing like her Water Minister Noel Blair does.
And back in our home state this week, Del, the federal government has announced a bold new action plan to deal with the Townsville floods. Morrison rolled out a flood relief package consisting of an emergency deployment of cotton farmers to dry out the North Queensland hub. The Prime Minister told our reporters that the batch of northern New South Wales blue-blooded Panama hat-wearing cockies that he was sending up there would drain the whole place within a few hours. One fourth-generation cotton farmer and noted Sydney Uni dropout, who's on his way up to the deep north, named Clyde Fontaine Smithbone, says it'd be a shame to let all of this water go to waste.
We can bring that Ross River Dam down from 240% to 100 without even breaching our water quotas. Fuck the floodgates. Just give me a length of Polly and a Davy. This town will be as dry as the Durran-Bandy motocross track by sundown.
Still in the deep north now, and Queensland Rugby League icon Jonathan Thurston has wowed the people of Townsville this week. He did so when he was spotted walking back from the shops with a coffee on top of the 2-metre high floodwaters. The recently retired great reportedly described the scene as a beautiful North Queensland day as he strolled across the floodwaters, seemingly unperturbed. At the time of press, dam levels in the city appear to be slowly falling, but Mayor Jenny Hill says she's just waiting for JT to figure out what's going on so that he can turn it all into wine.
Well, if there's anyone on this green earth of ours who can turn water into wine, it's got to be the GOAT JT. Anyway, that's it for the News Bulletin this week. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to download the podcast in order to get your weekly fix of real, unfiltered and unwavering regional news. Until next week, I'm Bruce Hitchcock.
And I'm Wendell Hussey.